In this video, we'll be talking about the general meanings of Sun in Scorpio. And so the reason I say general is because in the other videos, we'll talk about what Scorpio Sun means in each house of your chart, depending on where you have the Sun. But in this case, it's just about Scorpio in general. Scorpio is the fixed water sign. Fixed means a constant state, and water just means emotion or motivation. So Scorpio is about a constant state of emotion. The Sun shows us our personality or what motivates us, our energy levels. So in a way, the Sun in Scorpio is a strong position, but it's also a challenging position. Here's why. Because Scorpio is ruled by Mars. Mars does very well in Scorpio because Scorpio is about a constant state of motivation. That's why it's ruled by Mars. So when the Sun is here, this means that you have a constant state of energy or emotion or motivation. But generally speaking, Scorpio is the sign of secrets as well and depth, because it's about emotions and it's about protecting emotions as well. So in general, with the Sun in Scorpio, this shows that you are a deep individual and there's more to you than what is on the surface of how you express yourself. So people must be able to infer about you things that you don't say, or else they are not actually understanding you. So when the Sun is in Scorpio, it's actually square to Leo, which is the sign that the Sun rules. So when the Sun is in Scorpio, it's in a square kind of challenging aspect, because you have a desire to keep things secret or keep your motives hidden. But at the same time, this clashes with the meanings of the Sun, because the Sun is about being seen. So there's this constant balance of what you share with others and what you keep for yourself. And this can feel challenging to your ego because sometimes you don't feel seen, but at the same time, you feel comfortable keeping things to yourself. So that's why the Sun is kind of challenging or kind of unstable in Scorpio. But with that being said, you are constantly motivated. So that's the positive of that placement. Or you can constantly lack motivation at the same time, because Scorpio can be about depression because it's just a constant emotional state. Generally speaking, whatever emotion that a Scorpio is feeling, they'll feel it for long periods of time, whether that's a good emotion or a bad emotion. And sometimes they care about things that they don't, that doesn't serve them, or they feel like they care about things and they can't help it. That's the effect of Scorpio, as opposed to the other water signs, Pisces and Cancer. Pisces, they'll care about everything and they can't help it. But they'll move on from things very quickly. Like every day they're caring about something different, or they're crying about something different, or they're very sensitive and stuff like that. They're changing how they feel because they just feel any and everything. Cancer is motivated to care for something, and they like caring about things, but they have an objective behind what they're doing and whatnot, behind what they care about. But Scorpio just means about caring about things and not being able to control it, if that makes any sense. So it can indicate some obsession tendencies when you have the Sun in Scorpio, because your emotions are fixed, but you can't help it a lot of times. Now, the other thing is Scorpio rules the values of others, because it opposes Taurus, which is about our own values. So when the Sun is in Scorpio, this indicates that you act based on the objectives and motives of yourself and of others. And you're motivated by what it is that others have or what others can give you. Since the Sun rules ego, when the Sun is in Scorpio, this shows that the ego will tend to revolve around the values of others and their psychology and the value that they place on you. So the ego of Scorpio is what it is that that you have that others want. That's what your ego gets most gratified by. Now, Scorpio is also the sign of survival and endings. So this indicates with the sun in Scorpio, you are a fighter. Scorpio is ruled by Mars, and you're kind of like a survivalist. So in survival situations, you do very well. You know how to rely on others, and you are resourceful, but in the sense of like what others can give you and how to utilize the situations around you. So anyways, like I was saying earlier, there's this challenge between expressing yourself and sharing, and also keeping important things to yourself or just keeping secrets. So as a result, you learned early on to do things in roundabout ways, and you learned how to manipulate things in your favor. Now, with that being said, you tend to be emotionally motivated because the sun shows us what motivates us, and Scorpio is a water sign, which is about emotions, depth, and just connections that we make to ourselves as well as others. So that's what an emotion is. It's when we hear something or we experience something and it connects, if that makes any sense. Emotions is about connections. Water signs is about connections. So you tend to be motivated by emotions. So also you tend to stick and be fixed on certain emotions. And so you're emotionally stubborn in this case because Scorpio is a fixed water sign. And so your emotions tend to be in a constant state, or they always tend to steer towards a certain direction, like a certain predictable direction. So whether that's for good or for worse, in a positive sense, this could be somebody that always feels motivated and always wants to achieve more and more and become extremely successful, wealthy, etc. Because Scorpio can be about insatiable appetites. It rules the appetite. It's about feelings that always recurring, always come back. But on the negative sense, it could be somebody that always steers towards depression or always steers towards a certain emotion. There can be that tendency. Now, with that being said, it also indicates that you have a high sex drive as well, because you have a high desire nature. The sun activates this part of your chart, which is Scorpio, whatever house Scorpio is in. And so you have a lot of desire energy in that area. And I guess we'll just cover what part of the chart that is for you, depending on which house that you have. So stick around for that. Now, with that being said, you always feel like you may always feel like you're trying to keep things from ending when you have the sun in Scorpio. That's just how life feels like on a daily basis. It can be monotonous, or it's like very cyclical, and you feel like the balance or the counterweight. Unlike the sign of Libra, which borders your sign, you are very direct and straight to the point. So sometimes you can hit people's sensitive spots because you get right to their values, and you just have an understanding of psychology. And sometimes you're very direct. You just want to get to the point. Like, okay, what's your objective? What's your motivation? Like that, Or what's the point? Why are we doing this? Let's get to the point. That's how Scorpio is, because it's about the values of others. It's not about putting on a front, which is what Libra is about. Libra is about getting to an agreement before we can exchange the values. Anyways, with that being said, Scorpio can feel very cyclical because it's a constant state. And you always feel like you're maintaining something, or you're surviving, or you're in a certain state. And your energy levels will tend to be very cyclical, because the sun shows us our energy levels. So it's like a cycle. So you're able to be very productive and very focused and kind of zone out or zone in, I should say. Because again, Scorpio is ruled by Mars. It's about motivation. And you can have a very monotonous approach to life. You're able to just do things monotonously. Scorpio is kind of similar to Virgo in that sense. With that being said, I feel like I covered most of what I wanted to for Scorpio sun. If you enjoyed this video, then actually one last thing I forgot to cover. One last thing. As well with Scorpio sun, like I was saying in the beginning, but I didn't go into too much depth. There's a lot more depth to the way that you express yourself than what people see on the surface. So you have a passion for a lot of like things such as mystery. You have a passion for the occult, psychology, conspiracies, or making connections and assumptions. Like you like that kind of mystery or hidden meaning aspect of life. And part of how you express yourself contains an element of that. So a lot of times Scorpios can have tattoos, or the way that they dress will have a meaning behind it. Like, for example, a tattoo is a picture, but the picture has a significance that you can only know if you ask the person or if you infer. And that's a lot how Scorpios express themselves. A lot of times you express yourself, but there's a meaning behind it that people must either ask you or infer about it. The clothes that you wear even maybe have designs or logos or like a brand that has a significance to you that is not apparent to the surface. Well, I mean, on the surface. So there's like layers and layers and layers of depth. That's what Scorpio is about. And the sun is about self-expression and how we present ourselves in the world. And that's kind of how you present yourself. You're like a mystery. Like there's only a surface. So people think they're just seeing you, but the more people dig, the more that there is to find. And it's like a bottomless hole. So there's just more and more depth. There's a side to you that's like not seen. So with that being said, that wraps up this video. If you enjoyed, then don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, especially if you saw something that resonated, heard something that resonated, and you saw yourself in some way in this video. With that being said, I appreciate you guys watching, and I hope to see you guys sometime soon in another video. Peace.